Hey everyone, we have another C++ video for you today. Last time we talked about inheritance, and actually this is the code from that inheritance tutorial. So if you would like to know more about inheritance and haven't seen that video yet, go ahead and check it out, and it will explain all this other stuff that you see here. If you're already familiar with inheritance, just stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about protection levels. Now, before we get into protection levels, let's do that fun little YouTube marketing thing. If you like the videos you see on this channel, please do consider subscribing so that more people can find them. Using that YouTube algorithm of it looking at your watch history and finding other people that like the same things you do and showing them these videos. If you like this type of content, C++ content specifically, please do hit that like button. It lets me know to keep creating C++ videos for your viewing pleasure. All right, now let's get into the protected or protection levels content that we have for today. So we have talked previously about public. We used it everywhere, and what that allowed us to do is it allowed us to be able to access the parents variable from way outside of the scope here. It's outside of the classes. It's not part of the derived class. It's in the main function. We're still able to see it because it is publicly available, publicly viewable. Now I'm going to move this down, and next we're going to talk about protected. Protected variables are a little bit different, and the reason for that is that they are only accessible from within the class itself or in the derived classes. So you can see all of a sudden parent variables no longer available. I still am able to access variable and derived variable. They're public. So I can't use parent variable? Well, not exactly. Let's say we have some sort of function in here. In here, I can use a parent variable. So since the derived class derives from the base class here, and it's protected, it has access to the protected variables and to the public variables. So that's pretty handy. Now, if this was not derived from base at all, like this, no longer do we have access because it is protected. All right, so let's talk about private next. Private variables, which actually is the default for classes. If I were to remove this, this would be considered private because that is what it is by default. We will bring that back really quickly so that it's just very visible what we're talking about. When a variable is private, I cannot access it here. It's interesting that IntelliSense is telling me I do have access to it, but if I try to build this, it says it's declared private, so I don't actually have access to it. And if I do it in here, yeah, it's not even coming up because it's private. Only place you can use it is within the class it's declared in. Now there is one caveat to that. We could put in here friend class derived, and that would mean that all of a sudden parent variable would work. Ta-da, that still works there, but it doesn't work down here. A lot of people do not like to use friend classes because, well, honestly, it does start to get confusing. Even if this is not following inheritance pattern here, since it's a friend class, parent variable is still available. Oops, I have an extra curly brace here. Let's try that again. Parent variable is not declared in this scope. Oh, yeah, I guess that would make sense because it's not inherited anymore. What we'd have to do to show that example is have a base object somewhere in here, and then we'd have the ability to use parent variable here. But if we do the same example down here, and we have base, it is still private. So what that has done is it unlocks this class to be able to access things that it normally wouldn't have access to. As you can imagine, this gets to be a little bit cumbersome because you have to list all of the friends, and if classes don't exist anymore or they change over time, it's a hassle. Generally, this is all avoided. But there you go. You know about it, and now you know how it works. So that's always good. Always good to learn how things work. Now, you'll notice when we did inherit from this, and we will again, you'll notice that I got to do this as well. There we go. You'll notice that we used public here. Now, this is a weird little thing where if we were to let's say we want access to variable in this one, but if another class were to derive from this one, we don't want them to have access to that. Then what we could do is leave this blank, or we could put in private. And what that does is it makes public variables private, protected variables private, and private variables, well, it wouldn't have access to those. If we put protected, what that would do is it would make this public variable protected at this level, and everything downstream would have it protected as well. And then obviously you still don't have access to private. So basically it allows you to increase protection levels but not decrease them. Generally, you will always see things public. So if you don't ever run across things other than public in your life, don't be alarmed by that. That's pretty much what is common. So that's really all that I had for you today. We've talked about public, protected, and private. We've shown how they work. We've also discussed that private is the default for classes, and we've shown how it can be accessed from outside the class completely, but also from inherited classes. So I hope you found this video enjoyable, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.